Hi, welcome. It's your man got a dots, man. We are back. Hope everybody has had a very good weekend. Hope you're having a good start to the week. 4th of July is this week, so I hope you're taking some time off to spend time with the family, friends, and all the good stuff, and be safe out there with the fireworks. Speaking of fireworks, we're here to talk about the start of NBA free agency. NBA free agency started at 6 p.m. on Sunday. We've got some big deals, some questionable deals to talk about, and we're going to kind of get into that tonight. Like I said last week, we're getting ready to start with the NFL content. So my football fans, don't be worried. We're getting back to it. We're getting back to it. It's kind of like a lull in between seasons. Y'all know how that go. But we'll start off with the big move in NBA free agency. Paul George signing a 4-year deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm going to go on record. We talked about this being a possibility for the 76ers. I think this move works for the 76ers on several different levels. One is I look at it as, and I wouldn't say an insurance policy because you can't replace the production of a healthy and focused Joel Embiid, who was on his way to back-to-back MVP campaigns last year before he got hurt. What's going on, Speak? We can't undermine that, but I think you bringing in Paul George. Even though he's had his own health issues, especially over the last 3 or 4 seasons. Last year, ended up playing about 72 games, which is not bad, in this era of load management, as we like to call it. So I think he had a very good season. Paul George is a guy that is in that upper echelon of when we talk about wing players as far as offense and defense. It's not a 3 or D guy. But I like the move for Philadelphia. I think it brings them a step closer. Now, I do think Boston is far and away the best team in the conference, but I believe you bring in a player like Paul George that kind of takes the pressure off of Joel Embiid, takes the pressure off Tyrese Maxey, who had his first All-Star appearance last season, really blossomed. He got paid this offseason, and rightfully so. But like I said, you bring in Paul George, a guy who is a proven performer when he's healthy and out there on the court. Could give now and probably would give Boston problems as far as their wing defenders because he's a guy you have to guard on all 3 levels of the court. So I like this move by Philadelphia. Philadelphia also had another underrated move that I don't think people were really kind of talking about in the news cycle. Kelly Oubre re-signs with the Philadelphia 76ers. Very good wing player itself, more of a slasher than a spot-up shooter, but a very good defensive player. So I like the move the Philadelphia has made. How you doing, Miss VS? Miss VS, I saw your appearance. Came out the satellite for just a second. I got you. But it's always a pleasure. But yeah, I like the move for Philadelphia. I think Paul George is going to pay dividends for this team down the stretch. Granted that everybody kind of stays healthy. This, to me, I look at Philadelphia as the biggest challenger for Boston, especially out there in the East next season. I know me talked on last show, talking about Milwaukee and stuff like that. I would have put New York here, but we're going to talk about New York and their start of free agency kind of rough. But I like back to Philadelphia. I like the move for bringing in Paul George. I understand Paul George. It was potential deals out there for him. It was talks of him possibly being traded to the Golden State Warriors in a kind of a sign and trade. It was talks that the Clippers, were trying to bring him back. I get Paul George at the age of 34, and what we've seen from a lot of guys over 30, and listen, I get it. You're over 30, you're looking for the years, and you're looking for the guaranteed money. As far as player option and that kind of stuff, you don't want to have a situation where you're in a position of Chris Paul, and we'll talk about him and his journey and start a free agency. But I get Paul George going into a situation in Philadelphia. Will be looked at as one of the contenders out east, even though Boston is clearing away. What's going on, Gator? How you doing, Dr. Nikki? We know that Boston has cleared away the best team out in the East, but I like the move by bringing in Paul George. I think it brings them to, a level right below Boston going into next season. Like I said, the addition, bringing back Kelly Oubre, I like that move. I think Philadelphia has the opportunity to make a couple of small moves to just to inch a little bit closer. But like I said, I like the addition of Paul George, and this is all granted on, with the thought process of being that Maxey has continues his breakout from last season. Paul George has a healthy campaign, and especially Joel Embiid. We've seen when Joel is healthy and locked in, best player in the league. He was on the way to another MVP season until he got derailed by injury. That's always the biggest concern with Joel Embiid. And I didn't realize this when I was kind of like looking at the roster for the Philadelphia. I didn't realize Joel was 30. I didn't realize he was 30. I thought, in my mind, I just look at, because he came into the league young. I just looked at Joel maybe being like 28. But no, he's 30. He's 30. What's going on, TC, man? Long time no see. Yeah, but I like the moves by Philadelphia. Like I said, Boston is still cream de la creme. I got Philadelphia slotted right there at number 2. And, number 3, based on the moves that they've made so far, I got to put New York Knicks there at number 3, with Milwaukee as a close number 4. I like the move of bringing in Miles Bridges. I don't like you gave up that many picks at a player swap for a guy who is a very good scorer, very good defender, can be a part of a winning team. But I don't know if I would have gave up 5 picks, but it seems like to be the going rate for borderline stars in the NBA, and it's kind of like what the market is what the market is. I do think defensively and on the glass, this team is going to miss Hardenstein. We'll talk about him moving over to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They had an opportunity to kind of bring him back. It was just kind of a money thing, and I don't blame Hardenstein. You was a guy who was a backup player, but a key backup player who ended up getting a lot of started quality minutes with the injury to Mitchell Robinson. The Knicks got to be hoping that he comes back healthy. But you're going to miss Hardenstein, and for that reason, I think if they was able to bring back Hardenstein, I might have put New York in the position of the Philadelphia 76ers with the moves that they did this offseason. You bring in Miles Bridges, you have OG re-signed to the big deal. You're hoping that Julius Randle comes back healthy. You're hoping that Jalen Brunson continues his superstar trajectory. And, I like the pieces that they already had. Like I said, Miles Bridges, I like him. I don't know if I'd have gave up 5 first-round picks for him. What's going on, Spot? I don't know if I'd have gave up 5 first-round picks for him. That's about the only question I have about that move. Like I said, they tried to bring back Hardenstein, but it came down to a money thing. But I think the Knicks are firmly right there in number 3 with Milwaukee. I'm curious to see what Milwaukee is trying to do this offseason. They haven't really made any moves, really haven't made any noise. I know Giannis is back healthy. Hopefully Dame comes back into the season fully healthy, but I'm curious to see what kind of pieces they kind of put around those two. They've been kind of quiet so far this offseason. So I'm curious to see what, are they waiting for a possible sign and trade opportunity in regards to Chris Middleton, or, is that something they may be looking at? I don't know. But Milwaukee right now, as it kind of stands, you're number 4, and that's not a bad place to be in the East. I don't think the gap between Boston and everybody is that big of a divide. I think those teams kind of close the gap, but Boston, right now is the team to be for a reason. They're the defending champs. Re-signed Jason Tatum to a very large contract. Surprisingly, and I thought this was kind of a surprise to me, they was able to bring back Derek White on the kind of money that he got, which I found to be highly surprising. Like, where's Boston getting all this money? Where is Boston getting all of this money? I'm curious. For you Boston Celtics fans, you're going to have new ownership in the near future. You will come in here with the Philly love. Don't worry, we're going to get the football season real soon, because we're going to get to talking about your Eagles and stuff. But I'm curious, where's Boston getting all this money? But Boston will be the team is up for sale. A majority stake of the team is up for sale. I'm expecting them to bring in well over $4 billion with the sale of the team. But like I said, Boston right now is clear. The clear favorite out east, clear favorite going across the whole NBA. Matter of fact, but I think 76ers. I think the Knicks. And I'm curious to see what Milwaukee's doing, but definitely 76ers and the Knicks. I think they got it a little better this offseason. We'll see how that kind of plays out through the course of next season. But I like the moves. The nepotism is in full effect. Going on spot. Let me tell you something. I get. Oh, here come the Boston lover. Oh, you know, nobody comes up without. You know, for the Philly fan out there, you know, this maybe that, you know, matter of fact, maybe this will make them feel better. What's going on, Speak Greasy?
Nothing, man. Carry on with the show, man. I'm gonna let you get through your monologue. I dig it.
Yeah, like I said, Boston. You know, Porzingis is out. For those who don't know, Porzingis is out. He should be back around the start of the next season. I think Boston, for them, is going to be about health. I don't think they're going to be able to add any more pieces with how the salaries are kind of broken up, but they didn't really need to add. They just need to kind of hold on to what they have. But health is going to be a big issue next season for Philadelphia. Now, as we talk about, you know, questionable free agency moves, I got to be looking at the Los Angeles Clippers. The fact that you wasn't able to get a sign and trade deal done with Paul George, recoup some of the assets that you gave up to get him. Because like I don't think a lot of people understand how many first round picks they gave up to get Paul George from the Oklahoma City Thunder. You know, one of those picks have turned into quality starters for OKC. You traded Shai Gilgeous. He was just a young player in the league. He's turned out to be an MVP candidate this past season. I got to look at the Clippers as losers so far in this free agency cycle. I've got to look at them as losers. You know, they did bring in Derrick Jones. He's an okay piece, but you know, for you not be able to get anything for Paul George in return for what you gave up is definitely a loss. And the fact that you just gave James Harden 2 years, $70 million. Why? I think the Clippers, you were bidding against yourself, because I don't think anybody else in the league was looking to give James Harden that kind of a contract. 2 years, $70 million. Oh man. For what? Like I said, I don't think anybody else in the league was looking to give him that kind of a deal. And I think, you know, the Clippers, you bid against yourselves. And I think it was kind of an overreaction to the news that Paul George was leaving. You feel like, you know, you're moving into a new stadium. You got to have a little bit of a star power. You don't know what you're getting with Kawhi as far as health is concerned year to year. But it's no way in hell I'd have gave James Harden that money. No way. No way.
When was the last time Harden had a decent year?
I mean, he had a pretty good year last year, about 20, I want to say about 21 points a game, about 7 to 8 assists. It's just okay. But, you know, for when we're talking about what the market was looking like, you know, and you have to kind of take that into account when you're talking about negotiating free agency deals with especially with older players. James Harden can still, you know, score with the best of them. Like I said, he didn't have a bad year, but 2 years, $70 million, and nobody else in the league was going to be giving him that kind of money. Like you were bidding against yourselves. And I get it. You're moving into a new spot. You need the name recognition to sell tickets a little bit. But I just don't understand why Clippers, why, and for you to not get a deal done, to get something back, because there was potential deals out there that, you know, you could have worked and got some assets back for Paul George, but you gave up. You pretty much built OKC up to be in the number one seed this past season with what you gave up to get Paul George, and you get nothing for him. I mean, so that's for me, that's bad mismanagement for the Clippers. I got to look at this offseason so far as a loss for them.
I mean, when the last time the Clippers made a move that actually worked for them? We talking about the Clippers here.
Yeah, I mean, the Clippers have had some success.
When Danny Manning was there, like
no, I mean, you know, Lob City was okay. They had an okay run. You know, Kawhi and Paul George, you know, their first season, they ended up making Western Conference Finals, ended up choking against the Nuggets that year. But you know, no, it wasn't the Nuggets. That was second round. But they ended up making the Western Conference Finals and lose, and that's as far as they made. I don't know what the Clippers. You know, you're over. I think you overpaid for Ty Lue to keep him from going to across the street to the Lakers. You overpaid James Harden. For me, it looks like a marketing thing, because 21-9 is nothing to to blow your nose at, but we're talking about a much older player who's not going to get any better, who doesn't replace what you lost with Paul George, other than maybe picking up his scoring. But he doesn't play D like Paul George. It's not the threat of Paul George on all three levels. So Clippers, right now, you're part of that if I had a category, you're in that loser category. And I gotta look at I gotta look at Golden State right now as also in that losing category, for you to not get anything. Clay took less money to go to the Mavericks, and we'll talk about that in a second. But Golden State, where do you go from here? Where do you go? Yeah, I mean, you traded Jordan Poole for nothing. You waived Chris Paul. You couldn't get anything for him, and Klay Thompson says, "Hey, I'll take less money to go elsewhere." And I heard this argument from some of the talking heads in regards to Klay Thompson and his situation. That he felt kind of disrespected, over the past couple of seasons. You gave Andrew Wiggins money, you gave Jordan Poole money, you gave Draymond Green money, and you kind of came to him with what he considered a pitiful offer, considering what he's done for the franchise. But I think it was Kendrick Perkins said this. They've already kind of, we already gave you a deal prior to the one you're on now, because they gave him a big deal, right when he got hurt. So they sucked up 2 years of you not playing to pay you for what you was worth to the team then. So I don't know. I think it was a messy, to me, it was kind of a bit of a messy divorce, considering that you went to the Mavericks, who wanted, needed a shot creator, a guy who can hit shots at a consistent basis. We talked about that. But you took less money to go to Dallas. I got to put Golden State in that category of losers also.
I mean, keeping him and paying him what he wanted would have did what for Golden State? Nothing. It wouldn't have put him over. You know what I mean? He want big money. We get that, but we ain't got it for you. And since that injury, you ain't been the Klay that you was before then.
Yeah. Yeah, he had an okay season. He had an okay season, about 17, 18 a game. Really look. It took him a minute to adjust to coming off the bench, but I think he kind of found his stride. His shooting form definitely came back. Towards the end of the regular season, but for you not get, it's this thing. One thing to let a guy walk out the door and get deals elsewhere, but how the NBA, what teams try to do is let's get a sign and trade done. Like, we'll give you the money, but let us get something in return. And the fact that you couldn't even get a sign and trade deal done for real, and get some real tangible assets. I mean, they got I think it was Derrick Jones, some guy. But it's you didn't get anything back of value for Klay Thompson, and I kind of look at that as a loss. I look at that as a loss. Like, you were barely a play-in team last year. I don't know if Golden State makes the playoffs next year.
Yeah, no, that's true. But again, we looking at Klay's effectiveness for that team and for the offense that they run. He made the right move going somewhere else that can actually use him, because him staying there while they are aging and they going, they're not trending up. So you can't max them out and then strap yourself for cash trying to get other potential players to come in here and that can actually help us. Like, he on the way out, bro. You're a spot up shooter. You was known for shooting 3 and D, and now you can't play defense the way you used to. Them bringing him off the bench was the writing on the wall that's our value for you.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I agree with you. I think Dallas right now, with what they got going on and what they needed, I think it's a better fit for him. I think he'll get more meaningful minutes in Dallas, but Golden State, man, you gave up Poole for nothing. I was confused when you gave Draymond the big money. It's just like you have Steph in tow. Steph still playing at a high level. You would think they would, be trying to put more pieces around him to, maximize those years you have left of Steph Curry playing at this level. And Golden State doesn't, seem that interested in it. Maybe it's the cost of winning. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, when you was winning the way they was winning, yeah, you can look at it that way.
Yeah, I see. TC talking about Tobias Harris. Detroit Pistons are definitely. This might well just get a permanent spot in the loser category. How the hell did you give Tobias Harris 2 years, $50+ million for what?
Mm.
You're not. I mean, you're not. You're not winning. You're not competing for one of those bottom seeds in the Eastern Conference. You just gave Monty Williams $65 million when you fired his ass. I do like them bringing in Bickerstaff. I think he's a pretty good coach. But Tobias Harris, I mean, it was a clear money grab because this is a much older player who's used to being in the playoffs, maybe not contributing much in the playoffs, but actually being there.
Just showing up.
I mean, come on. I mean, Tobias Harris is got to be the biggest thief that I've known in NBA history. A guy who has gotten large contract after large contract after large contract, expected to be a key member of winning basketball, and has yet to produce. Tobias, or Gator Girl, stop.
Who is his agent? You that's the agent that you want. Hey, I got Tobias paid. I can get you.
I mean, $300 million over the course of his career, and has faded to black every chance that he's gotten to kind of step up and play to the level of what he's getting paid at. What do you? I mean, in Detroit, you're bringing him in for what? You're not in a position to really compete. You're not. You got a very young team. I don't understand. Explain bringing in Tobias Harris. What is he going to teach them? What kind of winning habits is he going to be teaching them? I don't get that move. That move kind of confused me because I thought Tobias was going to be going to a team that actually had a chance to compete for a playoff spot. Detroit's going nowhere. Detroit is going nowhere. I mean, it's a clear money grab, and I got to look at the CBA. Are teams supposed to spend a certain amount of money that for on free? Like that's like a waste of $50 million. You're not.
That's how he got his contract in Philly, was through the collective bargaining, and that money had to go. The owners got to spend that money, so they had to give it to Tobias. Because he was in the league so many years at that time. So he had to get paid what he got paid in Philly during that contract. But this one here is like, ooh, how?
I mean, listen, and get a girl talking about they're gonna be on the rise again. Yeah, on 2K maybe, but not in real life. Not really. Anybody, Detroit make the playoffs next year, Gator Girl, you'll get 50 from me. You'll get 50 for. I'm willing to make that kind of a bet. Detroit's not competing for. They're not even competing for a play-in out east. They're not doing it. Another surprising move. I wouldn't say surprising, but I like this move for San Antonio, bringing in Chris Paul. Who is still a competent enough player. He can still be a starter in this league. I like the combination of bringing him in, teaming him up with Popovich, that young team, teach them some of the winning ways, and bringing in a real starting point guard for Wemby. And I think this is going to take Wemby's game to another level because Chris Paul works well with good big men. He works well with good big men.
Yeah, no, that's a plus for Wemby.
Yeah, and I like I said, I like him. I like Chris Paul there. He's going to be able to, like I said, show some winning ways to those that young team in San Antonio. maybe a move or two here. We'll be talking about this team as being a playoff team. We'll be talking about this team, as long as Pop is still the coach, Wemby doesn't get hurt. We'll be talking about these guys. Hold on for a second. Yeah, it's been a minute. Been a minute. Welcome to the show.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I can show my earbuds for it.
Who that?
You know that's that. Yeah, your cold.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's what we got here. Good guys win again.
Oh man, I know you had.
Where I go?
That championship was like the bubble Lakers winning. Like, with everybody in the East was hurt.
Hey man, health is wealth around here, man. That wasn't our fault. We were supposed to continue to play.
Yeah, well, we're gonna give y'all some problems this year.
Not as long as Horford is playing, he still got a Embiid number.
Oh, that was a myth back then. That's a myth now.
Yeah, I like Philadelphia's chances in a 7-game. Both teams healthy. I like that matchup.
Whoa.
I do. Because Embiid, a healthy Embiid causes a lot of problems for Boston. Paul George will be able to compete with the Tatum and the Brown. And I think Maxey, continues his upward, progress. They had a nice team last year. Health is kind of torpedoed that season. But I like if you had to put money on it now, I would probably take Boston in a 7-game. But I think it'd be a highly entertaining series. Probably go 6 or 7.
What about the Knicks though? I like that. I like that Knicks team. The whole Villanova connection.
Yeah, I like I said, I like Bridges being brought in. I don't know if I'd have gave up 5 first-round picks for his ass, but I like him being added to the team. But they're gonna miss Hardenstein. They're going to miss Hardenstein. Hardenstein, over the season, was already a good rebounder, became a better defensive player, and you could actually run a little offense through him. He wasn't that bad of a guy of initiating the offense in certain spots. They're going to miss Hardenstein, especially in the 7-game series, because Mitchell Robinson has an injury history.
What they starting 5? Is they starting Randall at the 5?
No, I think Mitchell Robinson starts he's going to be starting 5. Mitchell Robinson is going to be the 5. Randall will be the 4. Either OG or Bridges will be the 3, and the other one, either play 2 or 3. And, you have Brunson at point, and that makes the team a little bit deeper, because DiVincenzo.
OG are hard at 5. I mean, OG are hard at 2.
I will put OG starting. I like Josh Hart. He's a very good guy, but I think he's better suited to play with the second unit.
Right. So you got Hart and DiVincenzo coming off the bench. That's a tough team, man. That's a tough team.
Yeah, I like the moves the Knicks made. Like I said, Hardenstein for me drops them below the 76ers as far as this offseason kind of go. But it's not that far of a drop, because they have a nice enough team to compete, and you're building your team right now based on what Boston has got going on up there. So I like the moves, but by the Knicks and the 76ers. Go ahead, speak.
No. The Sixers they still need one more. I don't know, like if it's a starting lineup guy, but their backup big is where they mess up at. Because when you take Embiid out, it's a huge drop off to what they putting in there. Huge.
Well, but think about it. Most teams, when you take like the superstar player out, it's kind of like when you look at Jokic. I think Jokic, legs got tired because you take him off the court. Who do you have for the big man in Denver?
Well, they picked up Drummond though, so
yeah, Drummond's serviceable.
Yeah, solid. He won't, he'll get his boards.
Yeah, I mean, but that's all you really need him. You're not asking Drummond to come in and be a 20 and 10 guy. Hey, can you give me 5 or 6, based on like putbacks, and just give me about 7, 8 rebounds a game. We're good. Yeah, I need Drummond more so for minutes than anything. And I think Drummond. Yeah.
Well, what you think about Brown?
Here's the thing. The update on Bronny. They just signed him to a multi-year deal with the Lakers, and the report is now that he will start the season on the roster. I think that for me, I think that's a mistake. I think he'd be better served starting in the G League and eventually making the full-time roster. But yeah, I mean, I'm not hating on him, but this is kind of it's questionable at best because guaranteed deal, second year guy, and they're telling you're going to make the opening day roster. That don't really happen that much in the NBA, especially for second round guys at that.
When did the summer league start?
I think summer league starts right. I want to say right after the Olympics next month, so around August. I think August or September. Summer league
start like now, like in June.
I mean, he's gonna get burned in the summer league, but they've already kind of made a statement. They've already gave him a multi-year deal. Already said he's going to start the season off on the roster. Like I said, and for a second round pick, you don't really, hear teams come out and say that. They don't even really say that about, guys that are not even in the lottery. They don't even come out and make those kind of statements. Like, yeah, he's going to be on the opening, season roster. Because sometimes, you draft a guy in the first round, he's just not showing you enough at that time. Maybe needs a little bit more seasoning, a little bit more playing time that you can offer him. And they sent him down to the G League. And I think Bronny could, be better served starting in the G League.
Yeah, he got handed it, man. He got handed everything, like without having to earn it. That's the crazy part.
Yes, I wanted the Sixers to get him. I think that was a big mistake by the Sixers letting him go to the Lakers.
To get Bronny?
No, the white kid from Tennessee.
Oh, Dalton Connect.
Oh.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be a fine player. He's a lot more athletic than you would think. Looking at it, he's just a white boy. He's a little bit more athletic than you think.
No, he could play.
Yeah.
He's a player.
Yeah, I like that pick for the Lakers. But Bronny, like I said, I have at the end of the day, I have no issue with it. The second round guy, but just for you to be like, yeah, we announced we gave him a multi-year deal. And he's going to be starting the season on the roster. Like okay, now you're doing a little too much. Now you're doing a little too much. Like I said, he'd be better off for me playing in the G League, playing against other young guys, but also guys that are professionals trying to make rosters to damn selves and get more minutes. You're not going to get a lot of minutes in LA. You're not.
They might force feed him the minutes, bruh.
I mean, but I think that'd be bad. That'd be bad though.
But the drafting him was bad. Like not for the Lakers because you want to play with your pop. Cool. But look, if people was coming to his games in high school to see LeBron sit in the stands, not to see him. If his last name wasn't James, you would not know this kid at all. At all. You would not know him, as opposed to the guys who out there playing their ass off and you don't know who their parents are. You don't know if he got a mom or a dad, but he out there kicking ass. Like this whole.
I can't dispute that. I can't dispute that. I mean, it's a bit a bit biased. We drafted him, but I have no issue with him drafting him. Like if he develops into something, fine. If he doesn't, that's fine also. But just if I force feeding him, telling me he's going to start on the opening day roster,
big contract.
Yeah, with the multi-year contract deal already, like come on, man. If they force Bronny to 15 minutes a game, I mean, you're doing way too much. And I don't think he's ready for that kind of time on the court right now.
Well, JJ Redick's our head coach. They making some weird moves in LA.
Yeah, well, weird ain't the word, man. Weird ain't the word with some of the moves. Like I said, I have no problem with Bronny being on the team, and if he turns into a contributor, he turns into it. But this be like, hey, he's going to be on the opening day roster. When you got guys that get drafted into the first round, light up summer league, and can't make a roster to save their life, and he hasn't done either.
Yeah.
LeBron.
Go ahead, Ghost.
Is LeBron the GOAT?
I can make an argument. I can make an argument for LeBron.
Jordan owned the team. He couldn't give his son a sniff of the NBA. That shows you how much power LeBron had.
Well, the era. I would say this: the eras are different. Players have way more power now than they ever did back in the past.
David Stern not around no more, right?
That could be part of it, but I think the dynamic changed in the NBA when players are now able to say I want out of here, and will force their if you're that level of a player, you didn't hear that back in the day. We're talking about the 80s and 90s guys saying I want out of here, and teams like bucking to make it happen, taking deals that wasn't really satisfactory deal, but they just wanted to get something for the player. They didn't want an unhappy player in there. I mean, the power of the player is huge now in the NBA. When Jordan wasn't making those kind of demands on I want this guy here, I want that guy here, or also I'm not. You didn't hear those kind of conversations during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. The Lakers at one time were shopping Kobe Bryant. Kobe could have almost been a Bull.
Yeah, I mean, but when you look at where Brian went, everywhere he went, he had it his way. Always.
Yeah.
Like he get the players around him that he want, and it is going to go his way. Like, we need people around Brian that Brian can work with instead of building, a team that we see fit. Y'all gonna do this shit Brian way or he out.
Well, I mean, but Brian way has brought championships.
Did DeRozan go to LA?
It's being rumored that the Lakers are pursuing DeMar DeRozan. It's been talked about a possible the rumor wire has a possible 3-team trade where he comes to LA on the side and trade. Hachimura goes to Chicago, and D'Angelo Russell ends up in Portland. So I mean, that's the rumor. It hasn't gone down yet. I think it's a money thing with DeMar DeRozan because I think he wants to go to LA, but it's kind of like do they have the money right now to give it to him? So I mean that's kind of where we at with it.
That's not a bad package for LA to give up.
Yeah, I mean I would give up, especially D'Angelo Russell and Hachimura. He's not a bad player, but if I can bring in a DeMar DeRozan, a guy who can go get his own shots and he could be the focus of an offense on any given night where LeBron or AD needs a break, and DeMar can go out there and get you 30 or 40. I like that move. If I got to give up Hachimura and D'Angelo Russell, especially D'Angelo, because he's okay during the regular season, but come playoff time, he goes missing, and then he goes missing bad.
Yeah. But I mean, shit. That's it. And all of that depends on if Brian can put together another strong run. That we used to see him, but that boy getting older, man.
Yeah, he this I think this was, and when I have these discussions with people, you know, when they talk about is LeBron the GOAT, I can't think of any other player who has been in his prime for as long as he has in just about, you know, any sport. Like the closest comparison I can say maybe Tom Brady. I mean, for a guy to be playing this way, I mean, this well for this long. I mean, it's crazy. We talk about Father Time. Like, did LeBron look like he had lost a step at times last season? A couple times, but you know, 25, 7, and 8 at his age with the minutes that he's playing.
Oh no, he gonna get that, but his impact over the game is not the same as it was in Miami, in Cleveland. Like he would drag Cleveland to the championship, and you can't drag this LA team to the championship. That's the slowdown in them.
Well, I don't even put the pressure of what's going on in LA. To me, the most important player on LA is AD.
Right, and he's better than a lot of the other guys, probably with the exception of Wade that he had beside him. So
no, I can't ride with that speed. I can't.
He better than Bosh. Come on now.
I mean, better than Bosh, but you know,
better than Kevin Love. Who else did Brian have next to him?
He had Kyrie.
Well, Kyrie is.
No, I can't say that. But AD, see, that's the problem with AD. For one, if he ain't hurt, I can't get a consistent, you know, dominant performance. Like that's the difference. That's what separates AD from a Jokic and a Giannis and an Embiid. When we're talking about big men in the NBA, I know what I'm getting from them guys night in and night out on the court. AD can go out there and give me 15 and 10 one night, and the next night give me 40 and 20. Like I get nothing consistent from AD.
But you would take the risk on the trade, right?
I mean, I think you can get a lot for AD even now.
No, I'm saying like if you had the other guys that I mentioned on the block and you say who you want, I'll take an AD.
No, I'll take Giannis, I'll take Embiid over AD.
Oh, not those guys. I'm talking about the guys that Brian has previously dragged to the championship with him.
I don't look at dragging Chris Bosh I think Bosh took a lesser role. Same thing with Kevin. Kevin Love was a beast in Minnesota before he came to Cleveland.
Exactly. He got next to LeBron and things changed.
AD
got next to LeBron and things changed.
Well, Wade got next to LeBron. LeBron, you adjust your game because LeBron has that kind of presence on the court. Even Wade kind of took a step back when he played with LeBron. But AD, I mean, the most important player on LA. But I can't. I know it's going to be.
I don't think LeBron dragged Miami team nowhere. That Miami team was solid.
Yeah, I mean Bosh. You know, for me, Bosh said, you know what? Somebody's got to take the bigger sacrifice of their game. I'll do it. You know, I'll become more of a defensive minded guy, not really trying to. I mean, because you know, Bosh was a beast in Toronto.
Yeah, he was. He was a one. They had 3 number ones on the same team.
So, you know, Wade had to take a step back. I think Bosh said, you know what, for this team to flourish and win, I have to change my game completely and be more of a spot up shooter, you know, occasionally, you know, get it in the post, but offense can't really run through me like it was in Toronto. I mean, LeBron has that effect on guys, but the situation with AD is different because LA, they want the offense to go through AD, but he just for me he's wishy-washy at times, man. He's wishy-washy at times, and that's what kind of separates him from the elite bigs in the league. Like I know what I'm getting from Jokic. I know if Embiid is healthy, I know what I'm getting from him. Same thing with Giannis. AD, you know, he might have a 15 and 9 night, then go for 40 the next game.
Yeah. Fuck, but Brian wanted him. He wouldn't be on the team if Brian ain't wanting.
I mean, they got a ring. You can call it the bubble ring or whatever you want. They got a ring. It's in the books. You can call it what you want to call it. They got a ring. But AD for me is, since he's been the most important factor for LA's success. Like LA goes as far as AD takes them.
Would you take Brandon Ingram back? I heard a trade. I heard a trade. Same thing like D'Angelo and Austin Reeves for Brandon Ingram. I heard that on TikTok.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram. It's been reported he's could be on the move. I mean, Ingram's a good player.
I like Ingram. I think he just need to be in the right situation, but he's tough.
Yeah, I like Ingram. If I had to give up Austin Reeves to get him, yeah. Brandon Ingram is, when healthy. And that's always the thing when you talk about some of these guys is when healthy. Brandon Ingram is all-star caliber player.
Yeah, you add him to the Sixers right now, and it's problems out east.
Yeah. What about Minnesota, man? Like, was that a fluke year for them, or do you think they could still, push forward and ascend even further than what they did last year? A lot of things went their way, especially in that Denver series.
Yeah,
but I didn't like that. I didn't like the way they went out with Dallas. I thought they could,
Well, Dallas was, I would say Dallas was a bad matchup. And when we talk about the playoffs, you got to look at who matches up with who. I think Denver, they matched up better. I think Dallas gave them problems because Dallas is not a team relying on inside scoring like that, and they just kept hunting down Rudy Gobert time and time again. I think Minnesota is going to be okay next year. I think Anthony Edwards takes another step forward. I think Cat needs to get more of that bully ball kind of mindset and stop thinking just because you can shoot threes like that don't mean you need to be shooting. Like I don't need my big man shooting 7-8 threes a game.
That's the game now, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you bully ball still works in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Bully ball still, Denver showed you play bully ball with some guys that can shoot. Give me a guy that can Giannis and them. I mean, like bully ball still works and can get you a ring. Like you don't have to be shooting, long twos and threes all night long. Giannis, if Giannis shooting threes, he's shooting like maybe 2 or 3 at most. Like, no, I know where my money's at. I know where I can punish a team that's on the block attacking. Cat is, I don't know. He be confusing me at times because sometimes he has that mentality, sometimes he don't.
Yeah. I mean, you need a bully to play bully ball. You can't turn him into something that he's not.
But that's part of the problem with Cat. That's part of the problem. I think he should have had a bigger series against Dallas than he did. I think Anthony Edwards, Luka, they kind of washed each other as far as that. But I thought Dallas had nobody. If Cat wanted to dominate in the post, Dallas had no answer for him. Had no answer for him.
Think about Indiana though. Do you think that's another team that I thought kind of swooped their way through the playoffs? Because again, a lot of people were hurt. You see them
well, I mean, but even with that, I think the Pacers are going to be, they kind of like on that second tier of teams in the East because Minnesota. I mean, that's Minnesota, but Milwaukee. They gave Milwaukee fits all year long, even when they were healthy. You bring in Siakam for a full year. Halliburton, I think, is going to get better. And you look back at that Boston series, yeah, they got swept, but they was up in the fourth quarter, 3 of those 4 games, and just couldn't close. So,
I got a super team before I go. I think Orlando, not just with the KCP signing, but I think some of the younger guys get better this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see them, second, even Eastern Conference Finals. Just, one of those top teams.
I like Orlando, and I especially like the addition of KCP. because they needed shooters. They needed some shooters. It was talk of Klay Thompson possibly going there. I like the addition of KCP, a guy that can shoot, play defense. And I think Orlando learned a lot during last season's run to the playoff. Banchero gets better. The Wagner boys get better. Jalen Suggs finally started to show some promise after being a first round pick. Orlando's on that second tier team, but like I said, in playoffs, you got to look at who do you match up against. Who do you match up against? I think Orlando, they could possibly give Milwaukee some problems. Orlando could possibly give maybe New York a couple of problems, but I don't see Orlando, giving a healthy Philly too much trouble. Same thing with Boston.
Yeah, when that in the playoffs, once that rotation shrinks down to 8 players, if your 8 can't keep up with their 8 on a nightly basis, like you're not playing a different team every night. We saw what y'all did a couple days ago. We've taken that away. If those players ain't able to adjust to that on a high level that it takes in the playoffs, not going to happen.
Yeah, I think shooting cost them a series against the Cavs because that was a very good series against Cleveland. Just you didn't have the outside scoring when it mattered most. But I think KCP, championship pedigree, a guy that can definitely shoot the ball, definitely defend. So he fits that defensive culture they try to build down in Orlando. I like Orlando. I think maybe another move here or there. I mean, they might creep into the back half of that top tier of the East because I don't see like Milwaukee. What are you doing?
Hey, Buddy Hill Lakers interested in Buddy Hill. You heard that?
Buddy Hill's been talked about going to LA. They've been talking about ways to get him there. If I had to pick Buddy Hield or DeMar, I'd take DeMar. Just for the short term and the long term. Because Buddy Hield is a nice shooter. You need 3-point shooting, especially in LA. But I would still take, if I had to take a pick, I would take DeMar over Buddy Hield. But Buddy Hield, if you can't get DeMar, I think Buddy Hield is a nice piece to add.
Probably can get him cheap too. I'm gonna get off there. I appreciate talking to y'all, man. Be safe.
All right, man. You too, man.
Be good out there, go.
Yeah, congratulations on the shorts and the videos, man. I'm digging the Ray and Tay.
Oh yeah, Ray and Tay crazy as shit. I like that.
Yeah, I like the Ray and Tay. Before we get up out of here, Jesus, have I covered everything? I think I've got all the big moves out of the way. So your thoughts so far, overall of free agency speak.
No, teams is making good moves. I like it. And like once we get all of the big signings out of the way, what'll get you a championship is the other ones you make, the little signings, the guys that'll come in and do the dirty work, like your Drew Holidays, your Derek Whites. They're not big names, but they're guys who show up in the big games. And that's where you start to really fill out your roster. You get your big dogs in there. All right, now let's get the right people around them to make this work.
Yeah. Player I'm looking at next year to be an X factor. I'm just looking at the 76ers for right now. Player I'm looking at being an X factor is they re-signed Kelly Oubre. And I don't think if you ain't a Sixers fan, Oubre had a nice season last year. He had a nice season, and I think you bring him in there, a guy that can defend, shoot the three, but is more of a slasher and attacker. I like what Philadelphia's kind of building out there.
No, Oubre's been playing free. Yeah, I mean here and good fit, and plus them moving away from Tobias opens up a lot more space on the team to sign other younger players that's hungry, because Tobias clearly wasn't hungry because he was a fat cat. He was full off his contract. He had to do nothing but show up. But now that you can get hungrier guys in there with Embiid at the peak of where he's going to, he's not getting any better, but he's great now. So you gotta get some younger guys in there that's ready to go now because time's running out. Once he leave, you back in the process.
Okay, and before we get up out of here, a team that you're not going to, be watching this season, but be on the lookout for them in about 2 years. The Brooklyn Nets, with all the first round picks that they got, be on the lookout for the Brooklyn Nets. I like the stockpile of picks that they got. Kind of reminds me of what Boston did to kind of build their team.
Yeah, gotta make them picks count though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Gotta make them picks count.
In about 2 or 3 years, we'll see what because they got, like I said, 9 first round picks. 9.
Damn.
In the deals that we were talking about, trading KD, trading Miles Bridges, like they got a lot of picks. I think, and we're talking about the East, so you can get into the play-in the East with a sub 500 record where some of these bottom feeding teams like Detroit like to spend money. You have an opportunity to sneak into the play-in. Be on the lookout for Brooklyn. Be on the lookout for Brooklyn in about 2 years. Yeah, I ain't expecting nothing this year, but 2 years, be on the lookout for them. I think they're going to do something, with those picks, bring in some talent, kind of, you stockpile picks. You could have your OKC situation about 3 or 4 years with the right moves.
Yeah, hey, if you got it in the account with the draft picks that's coming out soon, they might get a Cooper Flag or, a lot of these younger guys that's coming out, or they can parlay those picks into a superstar on the team. Hey, y'all want to get rid of him? Here, take these 2 picks and send him over here. We're good with it. So yeah, they got some assets to work with. Yeah,
I like Flag's game. I've been watching some highlights of him. I like his game.
No, I watched him play. I seen him. He played against us in real life. I seen him up close and personal, and he's good.
He's good.
Nah, he was playing with his brother on the AAU team, and you saw how much he meant to the team because with any bucket he was, had something to do with, whether it was the pass, whether it was drawing people in. But that was 2 years ago. Now he's been working with them dogs, man, and he's gonna be a great player. He's going to be good. I don't, like a Duncan Robinson, DiVincenzo type guy for the NBA. He could play.
Okay. Right now he's projected, mock drafts to be the number 1 pick next year.
That's
yeah. They got him mocked, mock draft. But that's before the season even starts with college basketball. But they got him, if the draft started, he would be heavily favored to be the number 1 pick.
Now that's an indictment on the draft class because I wouldn't put him all the way up there, but maybe he'll surprise me. But I seen him. He can play. He's a player.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, Speak. I'll take your word for it.
No, he's dots. He could fill up a stat sheet defensively, but when he got the ball in his hands, there's probably going to be a bucket happening somewhere.
All right, I'm gonna keep my eye. I think he's going to Duke this year.
Yep. Yeah, so they're going to teach him right. How long he stays there, I don't know, but
these cats be one and done, man.
yeah. That's the thing. Like once he get to the pros, it's like, all right, now you got these dogs looking at you, and you was number 1. They're gonna be trying to take your money every night. You better be ready.
Yeah, I like the highlights of that. Just off the highlights, he looks like he can play.
He's high flyer, moves well, can shoot the ball, good IQ. Good IQ. But again, you measure that when you're playing against other guys that can do the same thing. Let's see if your production stay the same or do you fall in line?
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate you coming up, Speak, chopping it up with the basketball. We getting ready to get into the football stuff. I know you Eagles fans are lurking, waiting to hear what my commentary on what my predictions are for your season.
They'll say you. I'm not an Eagle fan, but it's all good. We'll see Cowboy, but yeah, man, good show, Dots. I'm out of here, Mike.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man. As always.
Yeah.
All right, Gator Girl. Yes, for those, before we close out, Kemba Walker has announced his retirement. I'm gonna be honest with you, Gator Girl. I'm actually kind of surprised. I thought, he could have came back to the league in a reduced role. I think he could have still been a serviceable backup for some teams. But congratulations on him. Had a very nice NBA career, very good college career. But he has announced his retirement. But anyway, NG offered the phrase that pays. We'll be back. What's today? The 2nd? Shit, I might not be back on Thursday. We might be doing a show on Friday over here. Probably do a show on Friday because I ain't doing nothing on the 4th. I like y'all, but I don't like y'all that much. But yeah, we'll be probably doing a show on Friday to kind of make up for that. Like I said, we're gonna get ready to start really diving into the NFL stuff. Talk about holdouts and all that kind of other stuff. As we kind of gear up for the real meat and potatoes of the channel. I love my basketball, but I love my football. But anyway, ends you off with the phrase that pays over here. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every time you learn. And I'm out.